What's up? It's AK Babyface. Subscribe to Supporting Icons for the latest boxing news.
Now, everybody is entitled to their opinion over any fight. Okay, you're entitled to your opinion whether you praise a fight or discredit a fight, whatever you want to do. But when you're a boxer and you do it, you need to really have the resume yourself when you criticize other people's fights, their performances, and their opponent. And the sheer gall, the sheer cheek of Deontay Wilder criticizing Tom Schwarz and Tyson Fury's performance. This is what Deontay Wilder had to say. Schwarz wasn't much of an opponent. He was a punching bag. The performance was just okay. We know Fury can box, especially against a punching bag like Schwarz. We want to see him do the same thing in tougher fights. So that is Deontay Wilder's statement. So, as I said, the absolute gall of it. Yes, Tyson Fury can do that to opponents who are punching bags. So I guess you are a punching bag, are you not, Wilder? Because he did the same thing to you, except he didn't stop you. But he pinged you around the ring for 10 of the 12 rounds. Arguably in round 9 and 12 as well, after you dropped him. But just because you drop a guy twice doesn't mean that you win the fight. Bearing in mind, Tyson Fury was out of the ring for 2.5 years after going through all kinds of hellacious things in his life. Took on a school teacher and a taxi driver. Went to America, to your own back garden, and humiliated you. And you guys needed to rob him on points to get a gifted draw. So you're not really in a position to criticise the performance. But as far as the opponent for Tom Schwarz, as I said, people will say whatever they're going to say, and everybody's entitled to their own opinion. But when you're Deontay Wilder, looking at your resume, looking at who it is at your fight, bearing in mind that you've had 42 fights compared to Tyson Fury's 29th, it's one hell of a cheek. Should we see what it was that Deontay Wilder was doing around about 29 fights? Well, he was taking on Audley Harrison, a guy who's been smoked by virtually everybody in the division at that point, including David Price. He took on Jason Gavin right before he got a world title fight, on his 32nd fight. Jason Gavin, a journeyman. He took on Malik Scott just before then too. Malik Scott, who got hit on the gloves and went down like he got shot. In other words, he faked it. But even when he became champion after defeating Bermanis Devan, what happened? He took on Eric Molina, a full-time school teacher. He took on Johan Duapa. Is Duapa any better than Tom Schwarz? Hell no. He took on Arthur Spilker. Arthur Spilker, who had already been knocked out previously by Bryant Jennings. Is Spilker any better than Tom Schwarz? Hell no. He even tried to fight Andre Wawrzyk, of all people. Andre bloody Wawrzyk. And the only reason that fight didn't happen was because Wawrzyk failed a PED test. Wilder rematched Bermanis Devan, who went to the ring after not doing any kind of training. He was a potato sack with dreadlocks. Could Bermanis Devan defeat Tom Schwarz? Hell no. Who else did he fight? He fought last fight, Dominic Brazil. You want to talk about a punching bag? I predicted that Wilder would knock him out in the first round. And he wouldn't go any further than round 3. Why? Because Brazil was there. He's a punching bag. It's what he is. He gets hit too easy. Wilder took on Luis Ortiz after Luis Ortiz had already failed a PED test for high blood pressure medication. You've got high blood pressure and you need medication for it. You've got to be at a pretty advanced age, right? Luis Ortiz, who was failing the medical 1 hour before the ring walk. The medical team were advising him not to take the fight, but he needed the money and needed special permission to go fight Wilder anyway. And he gave Wilder hell. And now, he's going to be fighting Luis Ortiz again in a rematch that nobody needs to see. So, as I say, if you're a professional boxer and you want to criticize other people's opponents and their performances, take a little look at your own. Wilder's resume is trash. This is not me being hateful. This is factual. His resume is trash. He's had 42 fights compared to Tyson Fury's 29. Was it a great opponent for Tom Schwarz? No, it wasn't. But listen, he was 24-0, undefeated. Undefeated for good reason, because he wasn't really fighting anybody of any kind of great note. Much like Wilder hasn't done his entire career. Wilder even turned down $100 million to take on Anthony Joshua for Undisputed. Wilder's in no position to comment about any fighter, especially about a fighter who he lost to in Tyson Fury. And yes, he did lose and got gifted a draw. So anyway, that's what's going on. Drop your thoughts below, click thumbs up, and of course subscribe. Catch you all on the next video.